Hi, I'm Lucas Stewart, Product Manager for the Lowrance Ghost Trolling Motor. I'm sure you've heard about the Ghost Trolling Motor and all of its great advantages, but today we're going to take a deeper dive and spend some time on the water so that you as anglers can see how much time we put into it developing these little features that will make your time on the water really great. All right, we put a lot of thought into the stowing and deploying of the trolling motor. So first off, we got a stainless cable that won't break on you throughout the day. We've also integrated this great hook right here into the head of the trolling motor. It gives us greater leverage. You know, after stowing and deploying the trolling motor so many times in a day, it wears on your back. So making this as light as possible for you to pick up. So you pick it up, and this hook, now I have full control to let it down as fast or as slow as I want. It's a great feature. The other thing is the cable management. So you no longer have the spinning head with the coily cables. And so we have this great digital steering cable that tucks right into the mount. It's no longer laying on top of our big HDS screens or flopping around on top of our rods while we're running down the lake. And when I bring it back up here, you'll notice it automatically aligns and lays down sideways. So I don't have to worry about steering it into place in big waves. It's gonna come in and lock down right there for me. The dual assist gas spring is really awesome for reducing the weight of stowing and deploying. So it actually works 4 different ways. First, it helps pop it up off the deck, and then it helps catch it on the way down. And then once it's stowed, it helps pop it back up and catch it on the way back down to the deck. One of the benefits of having a really fast trolling motor is instead of going back and setting down and starting my motor, if I want to jump across the cove, you know, a couple hundred yards, I can now point the trolling motor over that way and put it on high speed and really get after it. So it saves time and it allows me to be a more efficient angler. This is a very typical way to fish, you know, fishing a ledge or a point out here. And the thing that's really changed trolling motors over the last few years has been the ability to GPS anchor and to keep you on a spot. We call it anchor lock. So with here, I've got a dedicated button on the pedal. Simply push that button. It's gonna hold me in this spot. The thing that's really important about the way it holds you here is it's not going to apply too much thrust and create a big whitewater situation. You know, it's called the Ghost. We're supposed to be quiet when we're trying to catch fish, and it should be no different when you're on anchor. And so being able to hold you in a tight radius without still scaring the fish is important. Another great benefit is there's zero transducer interference. So we get crystal clear sonar. So in this situation, I'd probably be vertical fishing, maybe flipping out a nice little curly tail and bringing it back through here trying to catch some smallmouth. But it's really important to have a good GPS anchoring system that does not scare the fish. Fishing on, woo! There we go. Nice one. There we go. All right, nice little spotted bass. Another great thing about not having the moving head and coily cables is when you're on the anchor mode, when you have it on anchor lock. And as you can see, I'm holding this position and everything's steering down below the water surface. All I'm seeing is the arrow indicator move slightly. And with the prop being so quiet, you know, when you're in anchor mode, most of the people on the boat won't know it because they don't hear it and they can't see it. As we were developing the Ghost trolling motor, reliability was king. And so some of the small things we did to ensure that is this magnetic arrow. So you can see it actually is free spinning. And instead of having splines like the old days where the water could drip down through them, we're able to put a full silicone umbrella over all the critical components. So even if you smash this on a dock in a big downpour, you're gonna be able to keep water out. The other nice thing is it lights up at night whenever you apply the thrust, so you can see which way you're going. Oh. How many times has it happened to you when you're working down a shallow bank? You know, you may make the wrong cast and get hung up. One of the design features of our product is it allows you to have an extra place to go stand at the front to really be able to get out in front of your boat. So we made the mount totally flat on top. The point is so you can get out and get in there and get your baits free. It's also great if you're bed fishing and you need a little bit more height to be able to see down in the water. You can definitely get up here and get a better view and be able to easily move around. We spent a lot of time designing the foot pedal. First off, it feels really good. It's got the right tension, but we added some really cool integration features. So we've got these really cool shortcut keys. They were very popular on our HDS Lives where we had the same style of shortcut keys. So what we can do with these is we can save unique waypoints. So instead of bending over and touching your Lowrance, sometimes giving away your secret spot by other fishermen on looking, you can now use your foot to save a waypoint. You can also program keys to do power pulls up and down. So you've got your foot in their command center here. It's nice to be able to control everything around waypoints, your power poles, even set your constant on, all that from these programmable keys that you can set up through the UI on the Lowrance displays, on the Lives, Carbons, and TI2s. All right, we're approaching some flooded timber. So it's really important to have that muscle memory steering. So if you've ever grown up using a cable steer trolling motor, you'd know that as you position and point your foot, and as you move your foot, you know exactly where that trolling motor is pointed without looking at the arrows. The problem with those trolling motors is those mechanical cables are the first thing to wear out. And so we have a digital steering system that still gives you that same muscle memory that allows you to, quickly move in and out of the trees. You don't have to think about the driving, lets you focus on making the right cast into the areas. But if you know about muscle memory, it's just like putting your seatbelt on in your car. When you get in the car, it just happens. You don't think about it. You don't have to think about grabbing the seatbelt and pulling it in and finding the clip. It just happens. The same way as I negotiate through the trees, I'm able to quickly move the trolling motor, left and right, be able to move around, find the right angles on these trees to make the right cast, get it into the shade. But that's the critical part, and it took us a while to get it perfect, but it's great. So you get really fast steering, but you get that muscle memory still. Integration is really important. So we've got a few ways we integrate. Obviously, we've got the sonar and the nose cone, which we can pull into the displays, but we can also steer the motor right from the HDS Live, Carbon, and TI2. Now, what's really great about doing that is your chart plotter has a fantastic mapping. It lets you know, where depth changes are. It has all your waypoints, all your old trails, your data that allows you to help you catch fish. And so by having the integration to steer now to that data is really, really important. And we make it as easy as possible to do that. Show you a couple things. We've got obviously some of the same things as you find on the pedal with anchor and course lock and setting up some easy turns. But the things that I use the most are like this. So if I just touch the screen and let's say I want to go to that cursor and just say go to cursor, it's going to pull up the say autopilot and go. You say yes, it's going to take you to that spot, and then you can choose to anchor on that spot or continue in that heading. And then the other really great thing to do is set up a route. So you touch on the chart, you select new, you go to route. Now this is going to let you just be able to create a route anywhere on the chart. So you can make it along contour lines, you could use river channels, you could use your structure map if you've gone out and mapped an area, or even your live mapping to make that info. So look, my first spot's going to be right there. I'm going to come out here and troll along this contour line. And look, there's my waypoint 5-pounder. I'm going to put my last point there so it anchors right on top of it. So now we can save this, route 2. And now that it's saved and I select it, I can choose to navigate it. So my route 2, now I can start the route and I can choose to do this from the forward to the back. So if you've got a really productive route going, when you get to the end of it, you can simply reverse it and go right back down it. And you can set your speed to be a mile per hour. So if you're slow trolling for walleye, 1 mile an hour, it can do that and you can have it automatically adjust for your wind and currents. So really easy integration right from your touchscreens. There's 3 easy ways to steer the Lowrance Ghost trolling motor. So first is the foot pedal. And for bass anglers, as they're holding fishing rods, this is the #1 way to steer through muscle memory like we talked about earlier. Secondly, we have the key fob. And so this is a nice lightweight, be able to steer it left, right, thrust up and down, and it also has a hold for anchor. Once it's in anchor mode, you can jog around the spot really quickly. Nice and lightweight, won't weigh you down throughout the day. And then last, through the Lowrance HDS Live, Carbon, and TI2. And it plugs in through simple NEMA 2000. All Ghost motors come with that connection standard. It's nothing extra you have to buy. And most boats have a NEMA 2000 network, so it's a simple plug and play, all in the box, ready to go solution. A reliable and robust design is really important when it comes to durability. And you're out here fishing as a bass angler, you're gonna run into structure. I mean, that's where the bass are, and you're gonna fish around it. So we intend upon users to run into things. And we've gave you a mechanical solution. Basically, it's a 360 breakaway. It works with a knuckle. When you hit something, it deflects, kicks back, or deflects off to the side, and it helps you avoid it. If you rely solely upon a composite shaft to take the full load of an impact, eventually shafts will break. And when a shaft breaks, your day on the water is done. So the mechanical solution that we've got is really robust and strong, and you can see here, it does a great job of being able to take a strong impact. This is the Lowrance Ghost trolling motor. Built by anglers, for anglers just like you. We built it to be the most reliable, quietest, strongest, and most efficient motor you can put on your boat. To learn more, go to lowrance.com.